Are you confident in your preps? In today's video, I'm going to reveal 3 things that preppers are hoarding that they really shouldn't be. Don't worry though, I've got 3 great alternatives to consider. Let's start with number 1, toilet paper. A lot of preppers hoard toilet paper. However, it's a consumable. You can't hoard enough to last indefinitely, and while you certainly could store enough to last for an extended duration, I've got a better solution for you. Hoarding toilet paper takes up a lot of space, and it's just not worthwhile. Instead, what I would recommend is install bidets in your house. They're cheap. They're pretty easy to do. You can install them, get used to them now, and ultimately they save you money in the long run anyway as you transfer over to a bidet system. But at a minimum, you have them as a backup for emergencies. Number 2 on the list, batteries, disposable batteries in particular. Now, we use batteries on a lot of things, and it makes sense to store them. However, something you may not know, and something I didn't know until sometime in the military, is that batteries expire. And I used to think, well, that's just kind of garbage, but they really do. I remember having to throw a lot of batteries out because we'd have to cycle and test our batteries, and disposable batteries expire. So they have, in general, for your typical alkaline batteries, 3 to 5 year shelf life. So storing up a bunch, instead, what I would recommend is start using rechargeable batteries. Go ahead and stock them up, use them for everything you're currently using batteries for. And that way, now, rechargeable batteries will last about a 2 to 10 year shelf life, depending on storage and use. And so instead of having a bunch of batteries sitting off to the side that are going to expire, you'll have to replenish. You'll have active batteries that you're cycling through and utilizing, and you're keeping your supply steady. So don't waste your money on disposable batteries. Go ahead and switch over to rechargeable batteries now and stock those. And finally, for number 3 on the list, I'm probably going to catch a lot of slack for this, and I'll say this ahead of time. I actually like this, but it is not a good prepper store, and that is ramen noodles. So a lot of people choose to store ramen noodles because they're extremely cheap, and and they're relatively high calories for what you're getting there. And the thought process is that it's a great prepper food store. So there's a couple reasons why it's not. First off, it's while it has some caloric value, it's garbage as far as nutrition goes. And like I said, I like ramen. I use ramen, and there's nothing wrong with storing amount of ramen that you're using and cycling through. However, as far as long-term storage, the oil in ramen in the noodles will actually cause it to go bad. It'll turn rancid. And so whether it'll make you sick or not and how long that goes out, I don't know. But ultimately, it does not equate to a good long-term food storage for a prepper. Instead, what I'd recommend is learning how to make noodles. You can store in number 10 cans the wheat to make the flour and everything else that you need to make noodles, and they're better for you. They taste better, and you have a much longer shelf life by just storing the base ingredients. As far as on that too, some food for thought: coconut oil makes a great long-term storage as far as oils go. Oils tend to go bad, but coconut oil will give you some of the longest shelf life, especially unrefined coconut oil. And finally, if you just love ramen noodles, you can store up some bouillon too. And bouillon, when properly stored, is one of those great prepper things in the fact that it'll last virtually forever. So you can make you some noodles, throw you in some bouillon, you have some homemade ramen noodles, much longer shelf life, much better nutritional value for you. That's all for this video. That's 3 items that I recommend not storing up and the alternatives. I'd love to hear your comments below as far as any items that you've had personal experience with that don't store well. There's plenty out there, and I have a lot more, but those 3 are pretty common, I think, to the prepping community, and that's ones I wanted to hit on. Until next time, safe prepping.